Guys, something very interesting happened in Oba, Anambra State, Nigeria, among native doctors. Like some people will call them witch doctors, spiritualists. So how did it happen? It happened a few days ago on the 31st to 1st of the year, 2023. I think the 1st of January, 31st, 1st, something like that. A very powerful native doctor in Oba. I think Oba is the same town that Cubana came from. This native doctor has become so rich from doing charms for people. People pay him to do charms, so he probably got a lot of money from that. So this native doctor has built 3 hotels. So he commissioned 2. So to commission the 2, at least one of them, he invited people on the 31st night of 2022. So they were going to do the crossover night service there. As part of the hype, he got a ram and put it on top of a desk and said that any other native doctor that is powerful enough to untie that ram can take it home. And then he's going to reward that other native doctor with 5 million naira. 5 million naira is somewhere around $8,000 ish. Usually, if you know Igbo culture, this is something that we all have heard growing up, that there are powerful Igbo native doctors 200-300 years ago, that when they call a gathering of other native doctors, they tie a ram, and no native doctor will be strong enough to go and untie it because they use a charm to suspend the ram there. This particular native doctor decided to try it now. So when the whole thing started, no native doctor went. I don't know whether some tried or not, I don't know. But the video we're seeing is a young native doctor later turned out to be actually an apprentice of some other native doctor. His master sent him. He went there, did his juju thing, touched the ram, and then tried to take it. Basically, he undid the charm that they used to hold the ram. So he tried to take the ram since he has undone the charm. Before you know, people gathered this guy and started beating him. Why are you beating the guy? You put a challenge, a young man went and overcame the challenge and tried to take the ram. They started beating him physically. Even in the midst of the beating, the young man still went forward to still take the ram again. More beating. It became a problem. They prevented the young man from physically taking the ram. But obviously from the video, you can see that he has actually removed the charm, in quotes. Follow me, I'm going to somewhere. So at the end of the day, it became a big debate among native doctors, among Igbos and everything. Did the young man actually undid the charm, and was he treated fairly? The master of the young man that sent him, his mentor, now came out and said, hey, I'm the one that sent this young man to go and undo it, because on that day, probably he was not free to go. And the young man went and took down the ram, and they started beating him. Why are they beating him? What of the 5 million naira reward? By some accounts, I've not seen the video. The main native doctor that actually tied the ram said that he meant that the person is supposed to invoke the ram to come down and not to physically take it down. Now, I've not seen the video where he said it, but people say that that's his defense for having the guy beaten up. But in the challenge he put out for the video, he did not say invoke. He said you have to go and untie the ram. And that everybody knows that that's the tradition. If there's a ram tied, you have to go and untie it. There's nothing like invocation. If it's going to be invocation, that means the person putting it there has to invoke it first, to use invocation to put the ram on top of the desk. If you can use your spiritual power to suspend the ram, defy gravity and put it there, then and only then can you now challenge another native doctor to use another charm to defy gravity and bring the ram down. At the end of the day, people are divided. He's a legend, real life living legend. In fact, they should put his statue in the middle of a city where he's dragging ram. They should mold him up where he's dragging. They should mold that guy. Other native doctors around the world should pay some homage and respect to that young apprentice. They should send him money, the ones that have money, for many reasons. Let me list the first. The first is that he's a great apprentice, somebody that was sent by his master on a mission of life and death. He went there with courage. If you see the way he bounced there, like a proper native doctor that was trained well, he pulled out the ram. Why are they beating him physically? Why don't they beat him spiritually? So that man deserves the 5 million. Let them send the 5 million that is due to that young man to him. You send the 5 million, you bring him up to the stage, and then give him the due respect. Give him the medal of honor. That guy is a legend among native dogs. That apprentice, he just proved himself a great apprentice. They should give him medal of honor, 2-star purple hat. He deserves it. Some people think being a great teacher is the same thing as being a great student. Being a great student requires a different set of skills. A great teacher is one that is able to impart knowledge. A great student is one that is able to follow exactly what their master told them to do, word for word, until they become really good. When you sign up for my course on how to make money online, I tell people, don't try to do your own thing. Forget about creativity, innovation. Do exactly what I told you to do till you start seeing money. Once you start seeing money and you're now a master of your own, you start adding your own ideas, and you can even make more money than me. People that are not good students, there is when they are learning that they're trying other things, then it distracts them from completing the syllabus. So, but this young man did exactly what his master told him. He a legend. He a real life legend. They should send money to that guy, the one he won, and any other native doctor should send money to him so that other native doctor apprentices will learn that this is what you're supposed to do. Now, people think that native doctor and witch doctor is the same. That's one thing with African Christianity in general, because they have taught us Christians that these traditional religions are evil. If the religions are evil, how did they preserve our forefathers? Do you know that our forefathers did not take any injections for any sickness? All the sickness they're saying is killing people. If you don't take, you get polio, you get this, they did not take nothing. How did they survive? Europe respects. Do you know that they don't bury Pope in the ground? They will put him in a glass and keep. Because it's their tradition. They don't bury their respectable dead. They will try and preserve that person for hundreds of years. Go to Vatican. You will see so many corpses. People that died 300 years ago. They don't want to bury the people. In Africa, we have to respect our own. We have to have museums for this. That native doctor, they need to put his statue. When people are passing, they say, they say this is the legend that took down a ram that was tied by this other legend. That's how you promote the religion. You don't go start beating. That's why that Aqua native doctor should come out and clear it. You get some of these young native doctors, what they don't understand about the religion, the African traditional religion itself, is that some of the things they heard is just an allegory. When they tell you that a native doctor 400 years ago tied down a ram and nobody could be able to untie it, it's an allegory. It doesn't mean it happened physically like that. There's no ram in the world that you can't untie. You don't need charm to untie rams. If you tie any ram down, I will go and untie it. Any native doctor in the country can try that. Don't worry about transport. I will transport myself and my goons, because I have to come with men, so that if violence starts, we'll create the violence. We'll help you to escalate the violence. Anything you want, we'll help you to grow it the way you hear. But that ram, if you challenge me to untie a ram, I'm not a native doctor. I'll untie the ram. Before you say 1, 2, I've turned it to suya. Hire 2 aboki, they cut it into suya, everybody will chop. The 5 million, I'll use it and do saraka for everybody. Spread the money, spread the money. If I understand that native doctor was trying to do hype by tying that ram, promote his religion. At the same time, if somebody legally or legitimately won something, a competition, you have to reward the young man. Stop changing the rules after the guy has won. I respect a young native doctor, Lil Doc. That's what I call Lil Native Doctor. He's a legend. He a real life with his military regalia. Did you see the garment he's wearing? Even the tailor that sold that cloth is a legend too. They should drop something for the tailor that sold the cloth. You know what I'm saying? They should free Lil Doc.